So this is a story I don't think I've ever told. In my writing, I haven't told it. I don't think I've even told my wife this story. And you may.
We will.
I don't think she listens to these things. She still may not hear it. And you'll know why I didn't tell her at the time when you hear the story, because she's a worry. She tends to worry. So in 2001, I turned 40 years old. And I had gone many years at that point without really training seriously, because my kids were young during those years. And I started running and racing again in 2001, got to the end of the year, and winter was coming. And I knew that to motivate myself through the winter, I needed a pretty big goal, so I decided to run the B&A Trail Marathon, which was right before my 41st birthday. And the last long training run I decided to go down to the B&A Trail and do the run. So I'm near the end of this training run, and you know what fatigue is like at the end of a marathon training run, or some of you do. And I'm on the trail, and a guy goes by me on a bike. And soon after that, I approach him, and he's got the bike across the trail. And as I get very close to him, he says, threatening, "This is not personal." I turned around and started running the other way. And I know I was running fast for two reasons. One is you kind of know when you're running fast. The other is he didn't catch me. But here's the reason I'm telling the story now. Before the incident, I was fatigued, I was tired, I was ready for the run to be over. After the incident, I could have run forever. So here's my question to you. Why is that? Adrenaline.
Fight or flight.
Yeah. Fight or flight. The signals from my brain changed. Okay, and this is a lesson about pain and discomfort. Because what fatigue is, what the discomfort of fatigue is your body's way of regulating what you do. And because I had been running for a long time, and the body's very good at regulating yourself, making sure you don't run yourself to death, it starts sending these fatigue signals to keep you from running forever, right? And that, so my brain was sending all these fatigue signals. That event happened, and suddenly my brain wasn't worried about that at all, right? And the signaling changed. And it was more concerned about murder than death by fatigue.
What was the guy going to do?
I didn't stay around to I didn't go back and ask him afterwards. But it wasn't a friendly encounter, I can tell you.
How far did you go before you slowed down finally?
I really can't say. I actually came across the woman on the trail and stopped and slowed down there, just to make sure he didn't come back and bother her.
Did he actually follow you? Did he pursue?
I don't know. At the time, I could outrun a guy on a bike, especially an out-of-shape guy on a bike. So here's the lesson. And again, I want you to start to understand and think about what fatigue is. You know, what is the pain that you feel in workouts, in long runs? Okay, because once you understand it, you can begin to manage it better. It truly is your body's way of making sure you don't hurt yourself. That's what it is, and your mind is constantly getting signals from your body about certain things, like your body temperature, your energy stores, the amount of lactate and other byproducts in your blood system, and it's signaling. All those things are signaling to your brain, and your brain is sending levels of discomfort back to your body as a form of regulation. The best runners in the world are very good at managing that. Okay? And I don't expect any of us to get to that level. But again, if you can start to understand what it is, you can manage it yourself. Because if you start to get tired, if you start to hurt, and your emotional response is, I hurt, or I'm tired, all you're doing is reinforcing what your mind is already knows, right? And so that signaling comes down harder. I don't know if you've had this experience or noticed it, but in a race that's been really hard, typically when you can see the finish line, you feel better, right? And that's because your mind knows it's about to end. I can stop sending those signals because you're about to stop running, right? So there's some things you can do in runs and workouts to improve in this area. One is consciousness around it, right? Understand what you're feeling. You've got to understand the difference between the pain of fatigue and the pain of injury, right? Because you never run through the pain of injury. At least you have to be very careful about it and get good advice about it. But the pain of fatigue is different. You can manage that. So in your workouts, put yourself in a situation mentally through imagery of where you want to be in a race, right? If the workout that we're running tonight, think of it like the last couple miles of the race, your dream race. Put yourself in that situation and start to imagine that you're there. And as you run through the intervals, see yourself, feel yourself finishing the race the way you want to finish it. When you run your long run on Saturday, if you have 10 miles on your schedule, or you're doing 10 miles and you're training for a half marathon, don't think of those 10 miles as the first 10 miles. Think of them as the last 10 miles. And as you're finishing, imagine finishing your half marathon, right? Not thinking, boy, I'd still have 3 miles to go. But thinking, wow, this felt great. I finished really well. And in your mind's eye, you did, right? So on race day, you can manage all these emotions, the feelings, the discomfort better because you're used to doing it in your runs and your workout.